So this is big, if true. Looks like there's some insider sources that are leaking some information about OpenAI. Now, OpenAI is planning to have their developer conference in San Francisco on November 6th, less than a month from now. And I think it's fair to say at this point that these guys can ship. ChatGPT can now see, hear, and speak. The stuff they've been rolling out is quite incredible. The really big question that a lot of people had is, what is there left to announce at the conference? If they've rolled out Vision, the ability to speak, DALL-E 3, the ability to produce AI-generated art, AI-generated images, a lot of people have been questioning what is left. Speculation has it that one of the big announcements will be lowered cost for developers, for people that are building various apps and agents with OpenAI API, that maybe that cost will be reduced somewhat. And that was one of the stumbling blocks for a lot of people. And it seems like they were correct. OpenAI plans to introduce major updates for developers next month to make it cheaper and faster to build software applications based on its artificial intelligence models. By how much? Well, they can cut it by 10%, 20%, maybe even 50%. Nope. According to this source, it might slash the costs by as much as 20 times. Now, I feel like this is like pouring fuel on the fire because a lot of people are building stuff with OpenAI API, including various applications, assistants, simulated worlds, even some examples of autonomous AI agents. And cost has been a stumbling block. A lot of people have been pushed to find some alternative ways around it. We've seen Chat Dev, I've covered this on this channel. It uses GPT 3.5 Turbo, and it kind of like strings several agents together, splits them up into tasks like designing, coding, testing, documenting. And surprisingly, the applications that these AI agents produce, it's surprisingly good for GPT 3.5 Turbo. I was able to create a bunch of applications, including games like Flappy Bird, as well as some other specific calculator for games, little timers and stuff like that. And they mostly cost me between 4 and 8 cents. They complete applications with documentations, with working code, with all the bugs ironed out, comes rolling out of this virtual AI company for about 8 cents in API costs. When I use AutoGen with GPT-4, those applications are a few bucks, let's say $2 to $4, something like that. A 10 or 20 time decrease in those API costs is just nutty. Let's say that. It'll open up all sorts of opportunities for developers, for people building autonomous agents, etc. Now, obviously, take this with a grain of salt. We're going to see soon if this is true or not, but it does make sense. It does align up with some of the other predictions and stuff that people have been talking about. We do expect a big announcement at the developer conference, so this would make sense. In a previous video where we talked about how to build autonomous AI agents, I said that the two things that are kind of needed to really put everything together is, one, for it to have vision, for it to be able to see, for example, the monitor, to open up a browser, to kind of interact with the web pages. So instead of using some Python script to do OCR, sort of optical recognition of characters, or some other workaround like an API to tap into the website or something, for ChatGPT to be able to actually be able to see the thing that it's working on, just as a human being would see them, that would be quite a game changer. So here's this Microsoft paper that we went over a few days ago, weeks ago, I don't even know. I feel like time just flows differently when you're talking about AI. So this is Microsoft, and they're looking into GPT-4 with vision, specifically this. So their ability to navigate the graphical user interfaces. So something like Windows, basically any computer and smartphone, to navigate it in the same way that you and I would, to do web browsing, online shopping, watching videos, etc. As you can see here, we tasked GPT-4 to figure out how to get some sort of recipe, right? Mapo tofu recipe, right? So it opens up Google Chrome, it searches for what it needs, finds the right result. It does everything to figure out how to get that thing. It's able to do some shopping, like, for example, here we ask, what's in the news today? It goes, it finds the first result, it reads it and navigates back. Now, during this time, there was some bugs, there was some issues to be worked out. It still sometimes gets a little confused. Sometimes it clicks the wrong buttons, but overall, this thing is pretty darn close. So that was one big step towards creating autonomous AI agents with something like ChatGPT, right? Its ability to browse the web, research products, etc., etc. The other thing that we've mentioned that would be really nice to have is some sort of a memory system for it to be able to store some memories, to come back to it, to basically be able to learn from the things that it's doing. Having some sort of a database or a library that it can use to get better. Now, they do mention here that the updates include the addition of memory storage. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that means. Is that kind of what we're talking about, like a library of skills that it can kind of save? Or does that just mean that certain prompts will not have to be, that certain prompts could maybe be cached, could be saved to where it could kind of retrieve them if it's similar to what it's been doing? We're going to find out soon, but these new features are expected to be rolled out at OpenAI's first ever developer conference in San Francisco on November 6th, and that they are designed to encourage companies to use OpenAI's technology to build AI-powered chatbots and autonomous agents. It's interesting that we're beginning to hear this word more and more and more. This wasn't a commonly used word even a few months ago, but it's trending up. But these autonomous agents that can perform tasks without human intervention, said sources, who asked not to be named for discussing the company's private plans. And, OpenAI declined to comment, so we don't know if any of this is true or not, but it's lining up with a lot of the other things that we're hearing. And so the planned release of the so-called stateful API will make it cheaper for companies to create applications by remembering the conversation history of inquiries. So this sounds like a caching of sorts, so similar to how AutoGen allows you to cache some of the conversations that have been already run. It basically allows you to save on costs, especially when you're doing something with autonomous agents. If they have to repeat a certain task, you don't want to be paying, a few bucks each time they have to rethink about what to do. You can kind of have them do it once and then just read those instructions over and over and over again. Now, this could be, very useful, or it could be insanely useful depending on how this is sort of implemented. So we'll see soon. But either way, this is going to be a big, big deal. And so it says this could dramatically reduce the amount of usage developers need to pay for. So just reduce the costs. And the other update, Vision API, would allow people to build software that can analyze images. So this is basically that ChatGPT with Vision, but with, API accessibility. So very soon, we're going to see this thing being able to see, hear, speak. The Vision allows it to understand videos. It seems like that's what this Microsoft paper has shown. Like it's able to watch this little stupid TikTok video and understand the joke behind it. It's able to watch these people, put together a recipe and understand what it is. It's a tutorial on how to make raspberry bliss balls, as well as read who made that, what the thing is called, and how many likes it has, etc. So what does that mean for us? Well, that means that the new capabilities are coming fast. And I think these will be the final pieces for us to really start creating effective autonomous agents. I think 2024 will be the year of the autonomous AI agent. So this is Andrew Ng. Now, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I've been following him. He seems like he's one of the good guys in this AI space. It seems like he's really out here to help people transition into this field, to understand more about it. And he's been posting a lot of free and excellent content about how to learn more about this stuff. So, by the way, this is deeplearning.ai. And they have these short courses that you can check out. They're free. They're pretty simple. They're pretty quick. It should be pretty easy to get through a course in under a week if you're doing a little bit each day. And so they have a course on how to program with a large language model. So how to actually create code working alongside something like GPT-4, prompt engineering for developers, building systems with the ChatGPT API, which I think this is very close to what we're talking about here, autonomous AI agents, how to automate workflows, and many, many more. So I started taking a few of these courses. I think these are going to be excellent. So far from everything I've seen, they are phenomenally done, and I can feel comfortable sort of preemptively recommending them. So if you have time, check them out. They're absolutely free. And I think they will work as a pretty good sort of intro to how to be ready when all this stuff rolls out. I'm going to be posting more content on natural20.com, natural20.com. Hopefully, I'll have more tutorials and stuff for people to check out that will help them kind of catch up and get into this field as well. The really cool thing right now is that we're so early, and there really isn't experts at this stuff yet. I mean, yeah, there have been people that have been in machine learning for decades. There have been people that have been doing software development for decades, but a lot of this is brand new. So if you're listening to this right now, I feel like this is the moment that you're going to look back, 5-10 years from now, you're going to look back on this moment and be like, man, that was the moment to really dive into this, to just go all in on this. So I don't know about you, but me personally, I'm really excited about this stuff, trying to just take in as much as possible. And I'm going to be doing my best to try to put as many tutorials and news and all the stuff that I'm learning to try to put it into video format on this channel and hopefully help people get into this as well. I feel like this is an unprecedented time, an unprecedented opportunity. That US general that we listened to a few days ago called AI the mother of all technologies. And I think he's spot on. And I think right now the key for all of us to kind of get in this game is to just learn. Learning isn't always easy. Learning can be very uncomfortable. Learning can make you feel dumb if you're trying to learn something new, but that's okay. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is don't sleep on this. My name is Wes Roth, and thank you for watching.